Good. Easy. Thank you.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. Hey, Drake, we hear coaches say all the time how difficult it is for guys to come into a program on the offensive line if they haven't been developed there
Yeah.
for 3 or 4 years. What does it say about not just you, but the guys around you that you've been able to be so successful the way you've come into this program?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just about being open with each other, talking through things. Like even in spring ball, I was hurt, so I wasn't able to participate, but even just like talking through how they usually block certain things in certain situations with like different linebacker alignments and stuff like that. I think just the fact that everyone can be open with each other and talk through things was the biggest aspect of how, we were still able to be pretty successful this year, even with me not being in spring ball and my first year in the program.
So what was the biggest challenge for you, and how did you deal with it?
Biggest challenge was probably obviously not having a spot going into camp. Being hurt in spring ball, not being able to show everyone what I could do, and really having a lot of question marks on the center position on the team. In my mind, I obviously thought I feel like I was the guy from day one, but obviously you still have to go out and prove it. But that was probably the biggest challenge, was just that first 3 weeks in camp, just earning that spot, and then running with it from there. So.
How close are you guys? Just off the field?
Pretty close, honestly, from top to bottom too. Not just a ones or twos thing or anything. You got the freshman walk-on guys. We're boys with all of them. It's a pretty close room, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
I always hear with football players, there's a shared suffering. How is that true for the offensive line that brings you together?
Yeah, it's pretty true in every aspect. It's kind of that way with every position group on the team, especially with everything that's gone on this year in the media and all the off the field stuff that we've kind of just been able to rally around together. But an offensive line room is offensive line room basically anywhere. I feel like it kind of is similar mindset at any program. It's always the big guys who are always just doing, kind of getting through practice, trying to do whatever they want, a little grittiness to them. So it's been a great thing to be a part of.
Drake, Coach Harbaugh is known for his khakis and cleats on the sidelines. If you were a coach, what would your game day fit be on the sidelines?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Probably something with some comfortable shoes, so my feet don't get sore walking around and running around and stuff. But if I had to choose, I like the cleats thing too for slippery games, especially up north in the Big Ten. Probably just some Air Force Ones and some khakis, I guess, and a polo. Pretty simple.
Obviously, a quarterback's got to have a good relationship with his line. How does JJ show his appreciation for you guys?
Yeah, he did that from day one, honestly. I think back in the spring, he took us out to Ruth Chris, and that was before, me, Miles, LD, guys who played this year weren't even, he didn't even see us play yet, but he, had the trust in us. He took the whole room out to dinner and paid for everything. It was a huge testament to who he is as a person and a player, and how he treats us and the rest of the team. He's a great leader for us and a great person that you want to have back there and want to protect. So he does that all the time.
Over the last couple of weeks, it seems like all the honors, all the respect from fans from you guys keep pouring in for Zach.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets that opportunity to see from other people how much they're loved. What has that meant for you guys just to be able to show him that even under these circumstances?
Yeah, obviously what happened was super unfortunate. But it was even in the moment at the Ohio State game when everyone was chanting his name, it was pretty crazy because as linemen, you're not really used to notoriety and everyone hearing your name or knowing your name and whatnot. But with Zach, it was almost as if he was the starting quarterback. Everyone knew who he was. The whole stadium was behind him, and obviously throughout the past few weeks, he's just been getting plenty of attention, all these awards and stuff. So it's great for him to be able to lean on that, especially since the season ended early for him. But yeah, it's obviously a huge loss for us, but at the same time, it's next man up mentality. We got plenty of guys in the room that can take his spot. Obviously, you can't really replace a Zach Zinner, but you can damn sure try. So.
From either like a fan base or even just like within a team room? Have you ever seen a lineman embraced like that?
No, I have not. I think linemen have a lot of respect, like within their certain programs, among the coaching staff or other players or whatever it may be. But from a bigger perspective outside the program, that was pretty special to see.
Drake, with Coach being former quarterback and offense really being his specialty in that front, is there any wisdom that he is able to kind of give to the offensive line that you hadn't heard before, where it's like, oh, he actually understands the position, quarterback and protection and all that?
Yeah, nothing super specific that sticks out like in the moment, but like he always is popping his head in the door in the meeting rooms back in Ann Arbor saying something about a certain play or how it should be blocked. So definitely he's definitely involved in like even just it could be the certain like the smallest thing possible, like how we want to block a reverse or something that like really has no relationship to what the quarterback is doing, but just like the general play overall. So he's always given good points, and especially if someone's struggling with a certain technique or something, like he'll come in and give us some pointers. So he's definitely involved in us. So.
I know you guys had a bit of a history lesson the other day about Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
What surprised you coming out of that?
Well, the first one was like the first Rose Bowl ever was a 49-0 over Stanford, which is my opposite, which was my old school. So I was like, oh, that's a good stat to start off with. So it was a little funny for me. But yeah, obviously I grew up watching the Rose Bowl, and as everyone has, or everyone does, I should say. But yeah, it's just great to be here, honestly, and be a part of this history.
What was it like being at Lowry's last night?
It was pretty sweet, yeah. Great experience for sure. They got the whole place decorated, and they were on top of it, so it was pretty cool to be a part of that too.
Drake Roman just told us yesterday. We heard from some of Bama's offensive players. They said that with all the kind of paranoia around the sign stealing stuff, that they switched from their tablets to only watching film in groups. Roman just told us that you guys also turned the tablets off and have only been watching in groups. Has that impacted game prep and how you plan for this game?
Not really. It's pretty similar to them. I'm sure they're watching plenty of tape as well, even without it. But we still have the main computer systems down in the meeting rooms in the hotel that we can go watch. I was down there with Crip last night, just going over practice and stuff like that. So, we're still able to get it in. It's not really a huge deal, especially it's kind of nice that we're all in the same spot in the hotel, so all it takes is an elevator ride and a couple hundred yards of steps, and you're right back in it. So.
Think you're watching more film, less film, the same amount?
Probably say the same amount. I've kind of had a little process as I've gone into game weeks. Obviously this preparation has been longer, so I guess overall you'd probably say more. But throughout the game week, I've always had like a pretty similar process on who we're playing. So I kind of just stick with that and let it roll.
Has this year kind of been surreal? You go from Stanford and just trying to get to that 6th win and compete for a bowl to now you're 13-0 conference championship, and it still almost feels like that's not enough, and it's onto the playoff national championship.
Yeah, it has been a lot, very surreal this year. Obviously a huge shift in culture and just football in general, not just like within the program, but outside the program as well. The attention the program gets, the attention the head coach gets with Coach Harbaugh. He's always in the media doing something. We're always writing about him as well. But I think the biggest thing was I think I've always had a winning mentality. So I think it was just nice to excuse me. It was nice to just be a part of a program that everyone else had the same thing. And not to say that Stanford didn't have that, but that it just shows more in the win column here. So.
You're a little banged up for the Big Ten championship game. You feeling better?
Yeah, I was a little banged up. I feel good now though. The 4 weeks were much needed, so it's nice. Yeah.
Going up against this Alabama defense, what have you seen the pass rushers are? It seems like every year reloading.
Yeah.
15's going to be a high draft pick. What are you expecting out of them?
Yeah, obviously they're super big, super fast, super physical. They really have everything you want in the defense. They chase after the ball. They're always getting extra hits on the ball carriers and stuff. It's a great challenge for us, and you wouldn't really want anything less in an opponent, especially in this caliber of a game. so our best is going to be needed. So we're excited to get out there and show everyone what we can do.
Has there been a message from your coaches about this is what a Nick Saban defense kind of looks like? I know he's the head coach, but he's got his hands big time on defense.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, we've gone back and watched old Georgia clips from even his predecessors who've been other places and stuff like that. Just getting a feel of how they usually like to call things. But yeah, I mean, that's not really a huge emphasis. It's more just taking what we see on tape and applying it to whatever play call we have. So.
What was your reaction? My last one is that Georgia game. A lot of people thought Georgia was going to go in as the #1 seed, and essentially you guys are Georgia. And for them to take them down, what was your guys' reaction?
Yeah, obviously it's a testament to how good of a program and team Alabama is. Georgia was top dog for a while. I think there was 20-something games they won in a row. I mean, it had to end eventually. So I mean, more the power to Alabama for doing that. But now we got to be out there and do it ourselves. So you got to be the top dog.
Drake, you've been up here for a while, been asked a lot of questions. What's one question you wish you were asked?
I don't know. That's tough. That's probably the hardest question. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one, honestly.
What's your why?
My why. I mean, probably just my family name and just where I'm from. I feel like I've always took into the fact that I came from Hines Ranch High School. It wasn't really a super strong high school program. Not a lot of guys go D1 or play college ball out of, and those who do usually make it pretty far. So I think that's my why. Just putting on for my hometown really. At the same time, just for the love of the game. Over the years, I've just grown to love football more and more, and just simply enjoy playing it. So that's kind of my why. Yeah.
Drake, I'm sure you've already been asked this, but when you committed at this time last year, before this time last year, did you envision being here in this type of situation, and how does maybe expectations differ from reality?
Yeah, I definitely envisioned it a little bit, especially after they lost that Fiesta Bowl game against TCU. I knew that the team would be hungry, and it kind of excited me even more so. And I also knew that the following year was one of the playoff games of this year, I guess I should say, was the Rose Bowl game. And I've always wanted to play at the Rose Bowl, especially being a Pac-12 guy. So obviously, it's been on our minds the whole year, and I knew exactly what I was getting into a year ago when I came here, and it's been great to see it all play out.
How is the week kind of compared to maybe what you thought it was? Is it kind of the same, or does it feel a lot different being here?
Yeah, it definitely feels a little different being here. I'd say I'm a pretty routine-based guy, so all my game weeks pretty much look the exact same. But here, obviously, you're taking buses to practice, you're doing all these activities and stuff, so it's a little bit different. But at the same time, that's part of it. It's part of the experience here, and it's great to get that in. So.
You're a Pac-12 guy. Do you feel like a Big Ten guy now?
Yeah, I guess I could say that. Yeah. I just say the Pac-12 guy mainly because that was where I was recruited. I mean, obviously I spent 4 years there, and the whole goal of Stanford was to always get to the Rose Bowl and win. That was kind of the MO. But now, obviously, Big Ten. I guess I can call myself a Big Ten guy now too.
Do you feel like the physicality of the Big Ten maybe prepares you for a college football playoff?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not exactly just the physicality, but just the size of the front seven on defense. I think is was a big change, and also a big challenge for me as well, and also a big help in our preparation throughout the whole year for a game like this. So. All right. Cool. How's it going?
this week been as a transfer coming into this? I know some of your teammates have done this 2 years in a row, but what's this whole process been like with the playoff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely been new for me. Obviously, it's my first bowl game, but it's been good. I'm just kind of embracing all of it. Trying to take it all in. And as we get closer to the game, just kind of start to hone in on that. But just trying to compartmentalize my mind of when we're doing football stuff, be locked in on football. When we're doing other activities, just enjoy it with my teammates and the time being. So.
Is this, watching Alabama on film, is this one of the better teams, defenses that you think you'll be able to play?
Yeah, absolutely. They're stacked from top to bottom. They got guys everywhere, obviously, as any team would in the college football playoff. But yeah, I think that, I was telling some other reporters that I think that they run the ball very well. They play hard. It's just a testament to who they are as a team and how they're coached. But at the same time, we got to match it and we got to beat them. So I'm excited.
So when you came here, this is kind of what you had in mind. Is now that it's here, is it hard to believe? Is it what you expected?
Yeah, not necessarily hard to believe, but it's definitely what I expected. But it's just like kind of crazy to actually be here now. It's kind of something that you manifest after a while and over the course of a year. Obviously, it's a long time to be thinking about certain things, but now that we're here, it's pretty awesome. So.
Almost across the board, your offensive line are graduates. This is a deep, experienced group. I know you've had some changes, but what does the experience show up like on the field that can help you in this game?
Yeah, a lot of it is just I think a lot of it's just on the fly. When certain blitzes or run blitzes happen or certain stunts that may take place in the course of a play, even if our communication isn't great during it, that's where the experience factor can come in and help, pick up certain things without everyone being on the same page because everyone just knows what they're doing. So I think that's probably the best aspect of having a bunch of old guys on the line.
We know you were banged up going into the Iowa game. How are you now? How has this month been for you?
Yeah, it's been very much needed. Yeah, I had a high ankle sprain going into the Iowa game, but I feel much better now. So it was definitely, the 4 weeks were great for me. So it's been awesome.
What's it been like seeing Zach put in the same amount of work he's been doing, unable to obviously play, but still be with you guys, do everything with you guys in practice? How's that been inspiring?
It's been pretty inspiring, actually. He's already walking and stuff without crutches, which is pretty crazy considering 5 weeks ago his leg was in half. So it was yeah, he's definitely healing pretty fast from what it seems like. Obviously I don't know what the x-rays and stuff show, but I mean, yeah, he's always in the training room with me doing whatever he needs to. So we're always talking still, and he's still part of the room just as much as anyone else. So.
Some new faces in this game up front. How do you feel like practice is going? Can you give me an example of well, we've really come together in a way, or what's it look like?
Yeah, I think just our game plan in general. I mean, obviously every team falls in love with their game plan going into every game, but I mean that's something you got to trust in your coaches, especially. We have full trust in Coach Moore and full trust in each other to execute the game plans and the plays that we're going to call. So, I mean that's probably the most important thing, just getting the reps underneath ourselves and the looks that we need, and just going out there and executing the plays.
So you're saying center is possible for Monday?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Edge protection. What are the keys to edge protection against this front?
Yeah, I'd probably say that we just got to pass off the games well. They're very strong, powerful, they're fast. I'm sure they're going to have some new blitzes drawn up for us. But I think we just got to work together inside out and make sure that we're not screwing each other over in the pass protection game and just working together as one. So.
How would you say your blitz recognition and your ability to help identify stuff has increased, or what's improved?
Yeah, I think it's helped a lot this year that I'm able to draw, kind of drive some of the protections. Some of them aren't really my call, but at the same time, JJ does a good job of pointing stuff out that he sees, and our tackles have done a good job of pointing stuff out that they see too, because I can't see all the stuff on the edge sometimes that they might be able to see in a 2-point stance. So I think just the communication aspect has just gotten better over the course of the year, whereas the first couple of games we had a few issues with it, but now that's all cleaned up. We've been pretty solid.
How does this defensive line measure up to the lines you maybe seen throughout the season?
Yeah, I think that they're probably definitely one of the best. Definitely from a size and strength perspective, probably the best. And then you combine that with their speed and the linebackers that they have. It's definitely the best defense we've probably faced. So, just gotta know that going into the game and be prepared for it and go play our balls off.
What do they do?
Last one.
What do they do well, and what are you trying to keep that? Or how do you keep it?
I mean, it's kind of just like any defense, really. I mean, they kind of do everything well, obviously, but you kind of just got to stay on the double teams as much as you can. I think at the point of attack, that's where we're going to have to win the most. You know, that's really it. Like, I don't really know how to answer that question, to be honest. You just got to beat them with, you know, with what they got. So,
All right.
yeah.
Thanks, Drake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm gonna grab that mic from you too.
Cool.